Next question. Henry from Spartanburg, South Carolina, has sent in a Jim Cornette promo on an episode of Down and Dirty with Dutch that, hey, we might as well watch it now. So 1 second. Okay, here it is.
Some very interesting comments from the big boss man here with me right now, as I promised.
Oh, you wanted to say something, Dutch, didn't you? Or did you?
Well, I was going to explain where this comes from.
Well, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, what's happened?
No, I just did a backstage segment or sometimes an in-ring segment with one of the talents, and I would just be the co-host. I would be the co-host of it, or host of it, and then I'd interview somebody. But doing an interview with Cornette, you don't got to do nothing. Just hold the mic, and he does all the rest of it.
Do you know what the setup is? I think we'll find out what the setup is, won't we? So here we go.
Jim Cornette. Now, Jim, you've heard what the boss man had to say, and you know what Bob Armstrong has in store for you. And frankly, right now, I'm going to have to say this. I'm glad I'm not you. You have to be a very troubled man at this point. I got hair standing up on the back of my neck, man. I got chills and shivers going down my spine. I got goosebumps coming up all over my arms. I can't sleep at night. I'm breaking out in sweat. And the whole problem is Bob Armstrong. Bob Armstrong, every top name in this business for the past 10 years has tried to back me in a corner. From Cowboy Bill Watts to the Road Warriors to the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Jerry the King Lawler, nobody's been able to do it. And then Bullet Bob Armstrong, you come along and you think you're great commissioner of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and every time that I've got the heavenly bodies just ready to dominate the place, you got to stick your nose in. You got to make the ruling. You got to be the referee. You got to do something to con Jim Cornette out of what he wants. So finally, I've had enough. I get fed up with you. And I get you in that rage in the cage where you're the referee. And my boys, they get you and they string you out and they strap you up and they crucify you, Bob Armstrong, just like the person you think you are. And I beat you half to stinking death. And I enjoyed every single minute of it because I've hated your guts for a long time. So
I've got to pause there. Stinking. That surely is just a word that only exists within wrestling promos.
Oh, yeah. Cornette, he does a great promo here.
Oh,
what do? You don't, like the 184-year-old goof that you are, you don't go back home and you don't retire, no. You go back in the gym and you work out and you get back in shape and you get your boys some kind of clan. And they all come up here and they start waging war on me and the Heavenly Bodies and the Bruise Brothers. And now you've gone and you've used your pull with the board of directors. You got a rage in a cage match. Fire on a Mountain in Johnson City. You better believe the boys are going to be running. Because it's going to be a rage in a cage match. It's very simple. 5 men on each team. The Bruise Brothers, the Heavenly Bodies, and Jim Cornette against the Rock and Roll Express, Scott, Steve, and Bullet Bob Armstrong. 1 man from each team starts. For 5 minutes, they fight.
We get the rest of it. I'll probably do it at the end. With that being said, the Bob Armstrong feud with Jim Cornette, I mean, how much fun was that in Smoky?
No, it was, Bob Armstrong was over like a son of a gun in Smoky Mountain. All he had to do was walk out there. And he was the Bullet Bob. And he would wear his mask. Of course, everybody knew it was Bob Armstrong, but he'd go in there and he'd do some, you like that word, stinking. He would bang his knees together like Jimmy Valiant used to do, and he'd do something stupid. But the people ate it up. And all you have to do is just get a little bit of heat on him. And all Cornette would have to do was rake his eyes or do something, get him down and settle him for a couple of minutes. And when he made his comeback, people would all come to their feet and they would do whatever they had to do. He'd either beat Jim or his guys would come in or something. Some other guys come in to protect Bob. But it was really fun to watch because the people were into it. It's not that the match was so good. It just that the people enjoyed watching the match because Cornette, he is like you would think he'd be, just a obnoxious little bastard. And they wanted Bob to beat the crap out of him. So when it came down to it, when Bob started beating his butt, yeah, people ate that up. But it was good to watch. I love their interviews. Bob Armstrong always did a low-key interview, but he was kind of funny with it. And Cornette, you could tell by that he was just getting wound up. And Jimmy has high blood pressure to begin with. And after some of these interviews, I think he'd probably be up around 180, 190, because he would get that worked up. he would get into his promo. And now, he didn't make this up like on the spur of the moment, but all day long he was preparing to do this interview. So he had it down what he was going to say, how he was going to address Bob Armstrong, and he did it so well and he's actually been a great manager every place he'd been. He was a great manager when he started in Memphis. Then he went to the Mid-South. He was a great manager there. Then they went to Mid-Atlantic, great manager there. Then he started his Deep South. What did he call that? Smoky Mountain Wrestling, started that. So he knows what he's doing. He knows how to book it, and he knows how to get heat, and he's been successful in that.